Welcome, everyone's to today's reading of the Daily Meditations with Native American Elders. My name's Josiah, and I'm an addict.
Hey, Josiah.
Hello, Josiah.
We'll go around the horn and introduce ourselves.
My name's Tommy, and I'm an alcoholic, a very
Hey,
grateful
Tommy.
alcoholic.
Tommy.
Me? I'm Leon, alcoholic.
I'm JC. I'm an alcoholic addict.
Hey, JC.
Hello, welcome, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys joining me today to provide some reflections on today's reading. But before we go into anything, I'm going to ask Tommy to offer up a prayer for us this morning.
This morning, I just want to say a prayer for all those that are still sick with the addiction to drugs and alcohol. I always include toxic relationships too, because we can sober up from the substance, but if we sober up from the substance and don't sober up from toxic relationships, we will always go back to the substance eventually. So my prayer this morning, dear Lord Jesus, I'm so grateful for the day you have given us, to be able to breathe in the air that you provide for us, to be able to get out of bed and walk on the legs that you have given us. I pray that you give each and every one of us who are in recovery, put someone in front of us today to help, whether it be help with a word, whether it be help with opening a door for somebody, or basically freely giving that person what was given to us by you. Guide us today to help us make sober decisions, or even decisions to sober up. Put us in situations where we turn to you, because I know that that's what you love. I'm just grateful today. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
Well, just going to go right into the meditations with Native American Elders. Fall meditations, October 4th. Search for truth. Indian values teach the holistic approach to the use of technology for mankind's good. Hopi. The Great Spirit has given us certain values to live by. If we learn to think in harmony with these values, such as respect, love, patience, tolerance, commitment, trust, etc., we cannot get off track. No matter what we do, we will always be in harmony. For example, if we are respectful, then we will respect the earth, our children, our women, our men, and ourselves. Indian values help us walk under the guidance of the Great Spirit. My Creator, today I search for the truth, your truth. Please let me see it. So I know today, for me, what the reading was really bringing through was that all these things, like respect, love, all those things in the reading, like it all starts with me. Like I have to love myself. I have to respect myself in order to give that out. If I don't come to a place where I'm loving myself and respecting myself, then I can't give that out. And for me, knowing that my Creator, my Savior, Shtubunkazwish, has forgiven me for all the bad stuff I did in my addiction, even in recovery, all the mistakes that I've made, that I am forgiven and that I am loved. That helps me to love and respect myself, because without that, I'm going to be swallowed up, engulfed with shame and guilt if I don't forgive myself first, number one. But over these, 5 years and some change that I've been able to walk the red road, I've been able to forgive myself. And all that stuff that I did in the past, it still has a sting. But when I first got to recovery, I first got to the red road, it was like 100% shame and guilt. Boom. Every time I thought about that stuff I did. Today, it's real low. It's like 5%, and that's because I've been able to forgive myself over these years, over that, begin to start loving myself, begin to start respecting myself. And because of that, in turn, I'm able to give that out. I'm able to live in harmony, as the reading said. I'm able to just love and respect other people for who they are, because I'm starting to more and more just realize that we're all human. And it doesn't even matter the shade of your skin. We're just all human. And we're all in this struggle. Some of us walk the red road together. Others got their own thing going on. But, that it all starts with me, number one. And I like the saying, in order to see change, you got to be change. And so whenever I'm getting frustrated about what's happening around me, I look at myself. I look at myself first, and I'm like, okay, well, why is this making me frustrated? Why am I getting all worked up about this? What's inside of me that's getting me all riled up? There's something that I need to deal with. And that's the beauty of the red road that's brought into my life, that I'm focused more on myself and working on myself, and it's a beautiful thing. And definitely this walk on the red road, this recovery, is these 5 years and some change walking the red road. It's like far greater life than the previous 32 years for me. And with that, that's what was hitting me with today's reading. And with that, I'll pass it over to Leon. Aho, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Dan, Tommy, you're making me dizzy here.
Oh man, I know. I was struggling trying to get on that thing and trying to get in a comfortable spot.
Gotta remember, us old guys get motion sickness real easy.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, there's a couple of things well, when you're talking about searching the truth, there was a book by Thomas Yellowtail from Wyola, and he wrote something about the truth. And he said life is like, a wheel. Actually, we all say the wheel, and it's got all these spokes that go down to the center, and in the middle is the truth. And each of us has our own journey to find that truth. I mean, your truth is not mine. Mine is not yours. So we all have our individual path to walk, but we're all guided by, the Great Spirit, the Creator. Oh boy, the reading, the Great Spirit has given us certain values to live by. That's something I had to learn by being sober. I have about 40 years and 4 months in the program. And I sobered up June 1st, 1980. And the Native American religion was just legalized in 1978. So I was really lucky in that sense, because there was a lot of people starting to explore. And then being AA, I had rejected, I grew up in Fort Belknap, and we had a priest, mean-ass priest. He must have been punished, and they sent him to Harlem to run the church there. You don't go to Harlem unless you're punished or born there, And he hated it. Oh, why? And he hated Indians. Father Pena. And he would take us little Indian kids whose parents didn't come to church and scream at us. Your grandparents worship the devil. I'm not gonna say their funeral. Well, man, that scares the shit out of a little kid, So that's what I was raised on, the anger. But I would see the old people pray. And I will never, whatever works for somebody in sobriety, I support 100%. But for me, it took a whole sense of changing the way I prayed. because the old people would pray, but they'd pray quietly. And I couldn't understand who they were praying to. And they said, we're not praying to anybody. And it was like the old people, I mean, let's say winos, my uncles, right, would drink and they would sit in a circle and they'd all have, 3 or 4 bottles of FI, California Muscatel. And then they'd open it up and they were poor, they didn't have money to be wasting, and they would pour a nice little drink out of the bottle as an offering. So even them, in their state of mind, they still were paying respects to the old ways, and each new bottle they'd open up, and then when I started drinking real heavy, I was pretty painful. Open up my beer or something, pour a little out, I was shit. I try to get used to pouring just a few drops out, But yeah, they it was just their old way of paying respect, or their food. And I was never learned that way of prayer because I never paid attention. I was too busy being angry because I was raised in that Catholic church, and I was, and we had a priest that was a molester. He molested a shitload of kids, and he didn't stop till somebody hung him. Some father believed their kid, and they found him swinging on a tree down the valley. And so that's what I was raised on. And when my drinking, I had all this anger and all this sickness. And then sobering up, the Lakota people from Pine Ridge, they open up, they're pretty open about sharing. And they have a terminology they call matakiasan, means all my relations. And at first I used to think, oh, all my cousins from here and there. And they said, no, everything. Everything's your cousin, these plants and, the rocks you bring in a sweat, or, everything that you hunt and collect. And then I started paying attention to how they would collect. They'd go out and they'd collect sage, but they would put a piece of tobacco down. Or if they didn't have tobacco, they'd put a coin down, nickel, whatever they had in their pocket. They said, you never take anything to just take it, and then you always apologize to and thank that little plant community right there for what you're taking. We have a thing we use in our tobacco called chinchasha, and that's that red willow that grows along the Yellowstone. And the only time you can collect it is from Christmas, what do they call it, winter solstice, until the spring when the first thunder starts. So they believe that red willow is sleeping and it doesn't feel any pain when you collect it. So those things I never paid attention to, until I sobered up. And that's been one of the gifts that I've gotten. I no longer pray to anybody, but I pray for my family. And I was even an altar boy at one time, and I don't remember anywhere in that mass that it say, give my grandma, my mom, my brothers and sisters health. Please help them in their sickness. It was this whole scripted mass that you just kind of had to follow. And then I got fired from being a altar boy in Harlem. I got messed up during the mass, and I started laughing, and so they kicked me out, told me I was going to hell. So, but yeah, so they were quick to punish in that way of prayer. If I did anything wrong, oh shit, you're going to hell. You better get over to, God, what do they call that? We sit there and tell the priest. It's like doing your fifth step.
Confession.
Confession. That's it. Yeah, confession. So it's like doing that, right? Get some Hail Marys and Our Fathers down. But and so I was really rebellious with that. But it's been a real beautiful life understanding prayer. When I sit down and pray now, I, like the brother was saying, away from that style of praying to, I could pray for my grandchildren or my children, and it's a regular part. I don't bless all the saints. I don't care about nothing. I don't give a shit about the saints. My kids are more important. My grandkids, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my brothers and sisters, you guys, everybody is in that matakiasan, and I would have never gotten that if it wasn't for sobriety. And it was kind of angry at first. It was really angry prayers at first. I even at 20 years sobriety, I used to think about going down and blowing up a Catholic church just for the hell of it, and then finally really truly work in sobriety that I understand it. And even in the Christian prayers, there's that one, Our Father saved my ass one time, where I was looking to do amends. And growing up, dirt as poor, I was hurt a lot. You know, a lot of ways, emotionally, physically, sexually, you know, a little boy growing up there. And I wanted people to make amends to me, and it never happened. But also when I was drinking, I was a crazier demon seed yet, you know. And like you said, I've done shit. I've been sober 40 years, and I still kind of things pop in my mind and make me kind of shamed. I go, damn, what the hell did I do that for? But that one is a part, and the thing is, thy will be done. Right? I mean, there's nothing we could do. The Creator, you know, just whatever happens. Oh, that's part I was going to tell you. My health thing, I have a mass in my right lung up high. And that's why I told you I moved to Las Vegas to be close to my doctor. I haven't smoked in 20-something years, but there's a mass, and we're going through testing. And what do? You know, where if it wasn't for sobriety, then you just think, you know, I just thought, oh shit, thy will be done. Ain't goddamn thing I could do about it, right? It could just move along, and that's the way it is. And then the other one was when I was talking about making amends, it was forgive us our trespasses, because I was crazy. I heard a lot of people too. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those. So I had to start forgiving them too. And then of course all of those that hurt me are dead. So then I had to kind of, you know, forgive myself, like you said, you know. But sobriety is a beautiful gift. It's allowed me to go from insanity to, I guess, normal, you know. And I live a good life. I have a life now beyond everything I prayed for when I was a little boy. You know, no mosquitoes down here, JC. I think he has 0 mosquitoes. But I want to thank you, brothers, for inviting me this morning. I miss you. When I come through, I'm going to come up and see you. So, mitakyasa.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'll pass the mic over to Tommy. You got the flow.
My name's Tommy. I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, the reading this morning, just I'm in agreement with everything like everyone said, but like, yeah, the respecting yourself, you know, that's a big issue. That's a big issue coming up as a Native American on a reservation. You know, a lot of our behaviors are learned from our aunties, uncles, moms, dads, grandparents. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that they didn't respect themselves, but you know, there's certain things that we picked up. But as far as values and morals and all that other stuff, I was big into just growing up. I was angry, mad at the world, you know, didn't fit in, abandonment issues. You know, I wasn't raised by my real parents. So I struggled to fit in practically every day of my life until I was saved by God, you know, until I gave my life to God and just told him, you know, I don't want to drink no more. I don't want to do drugs anymore. I don't want to be abusive to women anymore. I don't want to be abusive to anybody. I don't want to be a violent person anymore. So as far as me fitting in, you know, I went along with the masses. You know, if there was a group that was doing something that I was interested in or liked, you know, I tried to fit in with them. You know, there was a group of violent people. I tried to hang in with them. That's how, I mean, I liked the violence. And then I seen a group of people who became successful that, you know, in grade school, they were awesome with grades. And I saw the rewards of their hard work. So I did that. I mean, I know I'm a smart person. I know I'm a smart guy. So I liked what I saw. So I tried to fit in, and next thing you know, I was making I was making A's and B's, and I was getting on honor roll, and I got to go skiing, and I got to go roller skating, and I got to go bowling. I got to do all these things, and I didn't fit in anymore. I didn't like it. So I went to the next thing, and basically my whole life, all I did was try to fit in. I even tried the religion thing when I was younger too, you know. I tried to fit in with that. It was just a constant daily thing for me to try to fit in. So when I saw people being respectful, I said, I'm going to try that. So I tried being respectful. So basically everything I did pertaining to morals, values in my life, they were all fake. You know, I had no identity at all. None. I suffered with an identity crisis my entire life. But today is different. You know, I traded a vast amount of words for another set of words, and the vast amount of words, I lived those words. Now I'm living these words. So the words that I gave up were misery, anger, being manipulative, shame, guilt. What do you want to say? Just sadness. I traded all of those words for the word, and I lived those words to the fullest. So these words that I traded, that God gave me, I I'm living those to the fullest now, and that's love, unconditional love, grace, mercy, respect for myself, respect for the woman that I'm married to now, respect for my children. I'm at a point now where I understand where where I can't change people, um, and the struggle isn't there anymore. I can't fix people. You know, I walk through life living my sobriety. I walk through life living my relationship with Jesus Christ, and people see, and I have a purpose now, and I understand what respect is. You know, I really enjoy the I really enjoy what the gentleman said about harvesting. You know, I hunted my whole life, so uh, nowadays I see the youngsters. You know, they I admit I'm guilty of it too. You know, if I saw the big, I went for the big kill. You know, the antlers and all that other stuff, but I never did understand about the whole, you know, trying to fill my freezer or take just enough for to feed my family. But now I do. So it, it's it's a beautiful thing. This sobriety has given me absolutely everything that I ever dreamed of. You know, the joy and the cheer and waking up every day. When I wake up in the morning, like I said before, I wake up in the morning and I never say, "Oh man, here we go again." Man, when I wake up in the morning, it's like, "Yes, let's do this, man. Thank you." And I really do mean it. And that all that was given to me by God, and all that was given to me because I walked this sober road, you know. So with that, I do appreciate you, Josiah, asking me to talk. You know, I mean, I'm kind of rushing right now because I got to head out to work in Casper, you know, and make my living, you know. So I work on highways and stuff. So, you know, I appreciate everything that you guys are doing and stuff. And this was an honor. Thank you.
Who appreciate you too, brother. I pass the mic over to last but not least, JC. You got the flow.
Oh, my name is JC. I'm an addict. I just want to say, Leon and Tommy, thanks guys for coming on. I asked Josiah if I can go last because I was really excited to hear what you guys had to say, and I can kind of spin off of that. But good to see you guys. And one of the first things that I liked about that reading was that opening quote was something about that, like technology, that we can use that, and that's what we're doing right now. Who knows how many people are going to see this message, within the next week or the next month, and I guess what they say, once it's out there, it's out there. So this could last forever. So I think that's a good thing. But as far as the rest of that reading, that for me, the first thing that jumped out was when they're talking about truth. It always brings me back to the real truth about ourselves. And we were filled with these negative false beliefs. I was filled with these negative false beliefs, that Native American people are worthless. Our spirituality is like paganism or witchcraft, or we're savages. We're just alcoholics, and we don't. Not only do we see that from, I mean, that kind of trauma is passed down by the people that we're around on the res and people we grew up with and whatnot, but it's also out there in the broader society, and we can see it in all types of media. We see it in non-natives and with microaggressions and all these things that happen to us on a daily basis. And this is a subconscious thing. I don't realize it. I didn't realize it, that it was there, but until it was pointed out to me. But with that, once we know that something is there, and once we can identify that problem, then we can go along and we can fix that. We can change it, and we can start coming back to the truth of who we really are. And as Native people, we're strong, we're resilient, we're intelligent. Our spirituality, I believe, was given to us by a higher power. Our ways were our ways for a reason, and they helped us not only survive but to thrive. And as you guys well know, the government and colonialism tried to take that away. First they tried to just kill us off. I mean, they just didn't want us alive. And then somebody got the idea, well, we can't do that. But the next best thing would be to destroy the culture, destroy the spirituality, to destroy our spiritual strength. And they couldn't do that either. We're just too resilient. Like you were saying earlier, that it was outlawed until the late 70s. So just to smudge, people could get arrested. To Sundance, people could go to prison, for things like that. But somehow, some way, the Creator got us through that. And now we're starting to build that up. And me personally, I'm not one to say anything to cause my brother to stumble. So however you get from point A to point B is good for you, and I support that. And I'll never push my own personal spirituality on anybody. Growing up, I too went to Catholic school and did all the things that they do, but at the same, and my grandparents who helped raise me were Christians as well. But I also noticed that they were doing native things too. They were practicing their native spirituality, their native culture, and they spoke the language, and they smudged and they prayed. And for me, that I think it's just one of those things that the Creator has given us. He's showing us the way, and that those two things they're one and the same to me. Because like for me, when I read the Bible, I can see a lot of the wisdom and life lessons in there that coincide with what Native beliefs are. Now, without going into a whole different tirade, I'll just say that it's man who interprets one or the other and tries to make things bad. Native people didn't even believe in the devil. They didn't know who that was. The European settlers, they brought that to us. So, and with that, I have to say that when we practice our spirituality, and however you see it and however that works for you, that's good. When we do that, when we practice those values and those teachings and go through the ceremonies, and we have all that, that can exist in the same space as drug and alcohol abuse. Because like Tommy was saying, he went down those lists of those words that he gave up, and he gave the list of the words that he lives by now. Those two things can't exist in the same spot. They can't. You can't have love and you can't have hate. Those are two extremes. I mean, you either have one or you have the other. So I think when we really, really, truly, honestly practice the good side, then the other side will, it won't exist. darkness can't exist in the light. And so for me, that's what it was huge. It was huge for me to, well, first of all, to understand the power of prayer, and I'm a full believer in it. I've seen it. Just, I like I always say, I could probably see it every day if I would open up a little more. But I got some pretty good examples of how I have seen it just recently. And the other thing too is that I learned that you can go straight to the source through prayer. Through that prayer, you can go straight to the source. And to me, I don't think there's no right or wrong way to do that, because it's, for me, it's my creator, is my provider, my protector, my comforter. He knows what I need, and sometimes what I need is not what I want, and I have to accept that. But I also believe that all things will work out for my good. And so to follow all those kind of values, it almost takes care of itself. And it I guess to me, it doesn't matter. Like I said, it doesn't matter how you get from point A to point B. I'll always support that. I just want to see you in point B. I want to see you. I want to see all of us out there. I want to see everybody doing good. And one last thing I wanted to touch on too is the fact that, admitting that I was wrong, admitting that I wasn't doing good things. I'll never say I was a bad person, because I don't believe any of us were bad people. We just did negative things. And I always say that, substance abuse is like a possession. They call it spirits. Those are evil spirits that take over your own personal spirit. But so when we do those things, that's not really us. That's not who we are. That's not what we are. The truth now is starting to come out, and you can see it, and I can see it. I can hear it in your words, and I can see it in your actions, that the real us, the true us, the one that's always been there, is starting to come out. And that to me is the truth. The other part, the other side, the things that I did, that was the lie. And so, like I said, just to keep walking that red road and keep doing what I'm doing, things will ultimately work out for the better. And like Leon said, he come back from the brink of insanity. I gotta admit, I'm still crazy. I'm just not a hurtful and stupid person anymore. So with that, I'll let it go, and thank you guys for showing up and sharing your take on things. I learned, like I always say, I always learn a lot from you guys. You guys are my support. You guys are my rock. Keep up the good work. That's all I got. I hope.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I appreciate you guys joining me today, and all three of you gentlemen. You keep me sober. You guys are an inspiration to me. Your walk on the red road, your recovery is an inspiration to me, and I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys, and I say aho from the bottom of my heart for you guys joining me today.
Oh.
And with that, we'll close with the silent proclamation. To walk the red road is to offer up a silent proclamation.
Me?
Leon.
What up?
Well, I'll just say it. You guys follow me.
Okay.
To walk the red road is to offer up a silent proclamation. Here the destruction stops. We will heal ourselves. We will heal our wounded relationships. We will heal our children. We will heal our nation. On this day, our future begins. Aho.
Aho.